what people of the past thought the world would look like today. We would be able to pull full towns around with trains. We would have roofs over entire towns in order to keep the rain out. They imagined entire sidewalks would move so that you didn't have to walk. They weren't too far off with that one. Apparently, we were all supposed to have our own personal hot air balloons by now. A whale bus would be a bus attached to the underbelly of a whale that would help us move around underwater. Firefighters would wear wingsuits and fly around to help better put out fires. They were also apparently supposed to have flying police chases. They also predicted that we would have video phones, so good job there, and follow for more. Crazy coincidences you won't believe are true. 2 different women reported that somebody else had their social security number, but in reality they were given the same social security number. This was because they had the same full name, the same birthday, and their fathers had the same name. But wait, it gets weirder. They both married military men in the same year, had 2 children the exact same ages. They both worked as bookkeepers, had interests in oil painting, and studied cosmetics. While on a college tour, a family was discussing the Solo Star Wars movie and their thoughts on it. Then suddenly they noticed that Harrison Ford was on their tour as well. A woman's friends were searching for her on Twitter by her full name, Morgan Knight. They all ended up following a different Morgan Knight that looked exactly like her. A woman bought wine gums, which made her think of her ex from over 10 years ago because it was his favorite candy. Later that day, she decided to Google him. His funeral was happening that same day. Follow for more.
Salary needed to buy a house in 2021. For more.
Facts that will mess with your perception of time. The Sahara Desert was green and alive with vegetation only about 6,000 years ago. Rosa Parks was alive long enough to witness Hurricane Katrina. If you went back the same amount of time from today as Marty did from 1985 to 1955, you'd only be traveling back to 1991. Mark Twain lived long enough to take a color photo before he passed away. Humans have only lived about 1/1000th of the time that dinosaurs did. In 2020, researchers discovered fossils of green algae that existed 1 billion years ago. The last telegram that was ever sent was in India only 8 years ago. The last major Hollywood movie to be released on VHS was A History of Violence in 2006. Follow for more. Facts that will mess with your perception of time. While the United States was working on sending people to the moon, interracial marriage was still illegal in 16 states. Octopuses have been around for longer than the dinosaurs. It took 190 years before producers of ketchup realized that putting it in an upside-down bottle was a much better way to store it. We invented cell phones, the internet, and even green ketchup before we invented an upside-down ketchup bottle. The pyramids of Giza were as old to the ancient Romans as the ancient Romans are to us now. Paramount Studios was founded while the Ottoman Empire was still around. Will Smith is now older than the actor who played Uncle Phil was at the time that The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air first premiered in 1990. Follow for more. Comforting facts that will make your day. In movies where they use dogs as actors, editors have to commonly CGI another tail on the dog because they won't stop wagging it. Because guinea pigs are considered very social animals, it is illegal and considered animal abuse in Switzerland to own just one. All of the cardigans Mr. Rogers wore on camera were knit by his mother. Bees take naps in flowers. This penguin that lives in Norway was actually recently officially knighted. Otters hold each other's hands when they sleep so that their mate won't float away. Van Gogh didn't start painting until his late 20s. Whatever you're going through in life right now, it's not gonna last forever. Follow for more. Maps that will change the way you see the world. More than 2,000 Americans were asked to locate Ukraine on a blank map, and this was the result. This is a map of the more than 4 million public roads and highways that are in the United States. These are the only countries in the world that do not use the metric system. This is what light pollution looks like in the United States. I had no idea the East Coast was that bright. These are the only countries in the world with a population of less than 100 million people. These are all of the out-of-service railways in the United States. The pink areas are the only areas in the world that you can find flamingos in nature. Follow for more. Crazy coincidences you won't believe are true. This man was struck by lightning 7 times in his life and he survived all of them. Roy Sullivan was a park ranger in Virginia who still holds the Guinness World Record for being struck by lightning more than any other human on Earth. This dude was hit all over the place, in his front yard, outside of his lookout tower, and even one time in his pickup truck. A lightning strike hit a nearby tree and it deflected into his open window, searing his arm and knocking him unconscious. One time while he was fishing, lightning struck directly on top of his head, setting his hair, eyebrows, and eyelashes on fire. And apparently shortly after this moment, he had to strike a bear with a stick because it was approaching the pond trying to take the trout off his fishing line. Sullivan struggled later in life, mentioning that most people did not want to be around him because he was notorious for being struck by lightning, and he also mentioned that he at multiple times felt like clouds were following him and he couldn't get away. He kept a bucket of water in his pickup truck at all times just to make sure he was always prepared. His death, however, was actually caused by a gunshot, not a lightning strike. Follow for more.